Picture a dusty summer night in Oklahoma, the kind where the air sticks to your skin and the crickets hum loud enough to drown out the quiet tension inside a brick house on the edge of town. Caleb's 18, sitting on the edge of his bed, a skinny kid with dark hair and hands that shake as he rehearses the words he's about to say. He's grown up in this place, a home where faith hangs heavy on the walls, crosses nailed above every doorway, and his family's pride rests on his older brother, Derek. Derek's 22, broad-shouldered, quick with a fist and a laugh, the guy who wrestles cattle on the family's small ranch and wins every arm wrestling match at the county fair. He's the golden son, the one their dad brags about at the feed store, the one their mom prays will take over the land someday. Caleb's different, quieter, the kid who'd rather read comics than rope calves, but he's kept his head down, tried to fit in until tonight. He's known he's gay since he was 14, caught himself staring too long at a boy in gym class, felt his heart race when their hands brushed passing a basketball. He's hidden it, prayed it away in the pews every Sunday, but it's still there, real as the dirt under his nails. Tonight he decides to tell them, figures maybe they'll listen, maybe they'll see he's still their Caleb. He walks into the living room, where Derek's sprawled on the couch with a beer. Their dad's flipping through a hunting magazine, their mom's knitting a scarf nobody needs in this heat. He stands there, clears his throat and says, "I got something to tell you all. I'm gay." The room goes still, the TV buzzing in the background. And then Derek's up, faster than Caleb expects, his face twisting. "What did you say?" he growls, stepping close. Caleb repeats it, "I am gay." Voice cracking, but steady. Before he can blink, Derek's fist slams into his jaw, sends him stumbling back into the coffee table, a lamp crashing to the floor. "You're not my brother anymore, you freak," Derek spits, standing over him, knuckles red. Their dad looks away, mutters, "Should have known," while their mom just sits there, hands frozen on her needles, eyes wide but silent. Caleb picks himself up, blood trickling from his lip, waiting for someone to say something, anything to stop this, but nobody does. Derek grabs his collar, shoves him toward the door. "Get out. We don't want you here." His mom finally speaks. "Caleb, you can stay if you fix this." But he knows what she means, and he can't, won't. He grabs his backpack from his room, stuffs in a few shirts, his comics, walks out into the night, the screen door banging shut behind him. He's 18, bruised, alone, the family he thought would always be home turning into strangers over 3 words. He heads down the road, the ranch fading behind him, vowing to cut them off, to build something new where he's not a punching bag or a shame. If you've ever felt family turn cold when you showed who you are, Caleb's story starts here. And it's just getting going, so hit that like, share it with someone who gets it, and subscribe to Heart Stories to see where he lands. Tap the bell to stick with us. 7 years slipped by since that night Caleb walked away from the ranch in Oklahoma, his jaw bruised and his backpack slung over one shoulder, the taste of blood still fresh in his mouth from Derek's fist. He's 25 now, living in Tulsa, a city far enough from that dusty town to feel like a fresh start, but close enough to smell the prairie wind on a good day. He's built a life from scratch, works as a preschool teacher at a little school called Bright Beginnings, where he spends his days reading picture books to 4-year-olds and wiping jelly off sticky fingers. He's good at it, the kids love him, call him Mr. C, and he's found a quiet kind of peace in their giggles and the way they hug him without asking why he's different. He's got a partner too, a guy named Ethan, steady and kind, with a laugh that fills their small apartment above a coffee shop downtown. They've been together 3 years, met at a book club where Ethan spilled coffee on Caleb's copy of Where the Wild Things Are, and it's been solid ever since. Dinners at home, movie nights on the couch, a life that feels like it's his. Caleb's cut off his family completely. No calls, no texts, no Christmas cards, nothing. He's blocked their numbers, tossed every memory of Derek's snarling face and his parents' silence into a mental box he doesn't open. He's not angry anymore, not like he was those first months crashing on friends' couches, working odd jobs at gas stations and diners, saving every penny to get out. He's moved on, built something real, a world where he's not a punching bag or a secret. Then one Tuesday afternoon, he's in the classroom, helping a kid named Lily glue glitter onto a paper turkey for Thanksgiving, When his phone rings, a number he doesn't know, in 919 area code, local but unfamiliar. He lets it go to voicemail, figures it's a spam call about car warranties, keeps gluing feathers with Lily. Later during nap time, he checks it, and the voice on the message stops him cold. "This is Officer Reynolds from Tulsa County Jail calling for Caleb Tanner. It's about your brother Derek. We need to talk." He listens, heart thudding, as the officer says Derek's been locked up, sentenced to 10 years for dealing drugs and beating a guy half to death in a bar fight. Caleb sits there, the kids snoring softly around him, staring at the phone like it's a ghost. The officer keeps going. "He's got a son, Jace, 5 years old. Mom's dead. Overdosed last year. Derek says you're the only family left. He's asking you to take the kid." Caleb's head spins. He sets the phone down, runs a hand through his hair, trying to process it. A nephew he didn't know existed, a brother he swore he'd never see again. And now this, Derek, the guy who broke his jaw for being gay, begging him from a jail cell to raise his boy. He calls Ethan that night, pacing their kitchen. He's got no one else. The kid's mom's gone. "What am I supposed to do?" Ethan listens, pours him a glass of water, says, "You don't owe Derek anything, but that boy didn't hit you. He didn't choose this." Caleb stares at the counter, thinks about a 5-year-old stuck in some foster home, alone like he was, and feels something twist in his chest. He spends 2 days thinking it over, walks to the park near their place, sits on a bench watching kids chase each other, wonders if he can handle this, if he can look at Derek's son and not see the fists that sent him running. In the end, he calls the jail back, voice steady. "I'll take him, not for Derek, for the kid. He doesn't deserve to pay for his dad's mess." A week later, he's at a social services office, signing papers, waiting for Jace to show up, knowing this changes everything. A new chapter he never saw coming, all because of a phone call he almost didn't answer. Caleb's 25, standing in the doorway of his Tulsa apartment, watching a social worker hand him a 5-year-old boy named Jace, a kid with a messy tangle of brown hair, in a backpack that's too big for his small frame. It's been a week since he got that call from the jail, a week since he agreed to take in his brother Derek's son, and now Jace is here, stepping into his life with a quiet shuffle that makes Caleb's chest tighten. The social worker leaves with him, and Caleb shuts the door, turns to face this boy who looks so much like Derek it's like staring at a ghost. Jace has his brother's green eyes, sharp and piercing, the same crooked grin that flashes when he's happy, even the quick flare of temper when he doesn't get his way. And every time Caleb sees it, he's back in that Oklahoma living room 7 years ago. Derek's fist slamming into his jaw, the crack of pain, the blood dripping onto the carpet while his parents sat there saying nothing. Those first days with Jace are a struggle. The kid's quiet, spends hours on the couch with his knees pulled up, clutching a stuffed dinosaur Ethan found in a box of old toys. Caleb tries to break the ice, kneels down one morning. "Hey Jace, you like pancakes? I can make some with syrup." But Jace just shrugs, stares at the floor, and Caleb wonders if he's shy or scared or just doesn't trust him yet. Ethan's there helping out, flipping pancakes into funny shapes, making dinosaur roars to get a giggle. But Caleb can't shake it. Every move Jace makes, every tilt of his head, brings Derek back, the sneer, the hate, the way he'd growled, "You're not my brother," before shoving him out the door. He catches himself watching Jace too long sometimes, tracing the lines of his face, fighting this urge to pull back, to call social services and say he can't do this, because looking at this kid hurts, digs up wounds he thought he'd buried. But then there's the flip side, the nights when Jace wakes up crying, thunderstorms rattling the windows, and Caleb's the one who climbs out of bed, sits on the floor next to him, rubs his back. "It's okay, buddy, I'm right here," until his breathing evens out and he's asleep again, dinosaur tucked under his arm. He sees it then. Jace isn't Derek. Not really. He's just a boy, 5 years old, mom dead from an overdose, dad locked up for a decade, nobody else in the world but an uncle he's never known. One Saturday, they're at the park near Caleb's school. He's pushing Jace on a swing, watching him kick his legs high. When Jace turns his head, voice small but clear, "My dad said you're a bad guy, Uncle Caleb." He said you did something wrong, and that's why we don't talk. Caleb stops the swing, kneels in the gravel in front of him, heart hammering. What else did he say about me? Jace looks right at him, those green eyes steady. He said you're not family anymore, but you hugged me when I cried last night after the thunder. So who's the bad guy, you or him? The question lands like a punch, simpler and sharper than anything Caleb's ready for. And he sits there, gravel digging into his knees, staring at this kid who's slicing through 7 years of hurt with a 5-year-old's logic. He thinks about Derek sitting in a cell somewhere, probably still cursing him, still blaming him for being gay. But here's Jace, looking at him like he's trying to figure out the truth for himself. Caleb swallows, says, I don't know, Jace. Maybe nobody's all bad. Maybe we just mess up sometimes. But I'm here now, okay? You and me, we're good. Jace nods, hops off the swing, grabs Caleb's hand like it's the most natural thing, and they walk back to the apartment, Caleb's mind spinning. He's still wrestling with it. The bruises Derek left aren't just marks on his skin, they're scars in his memory. Every shout, every shove, replaying when he least expects it. But this kid, this little boy with his brother's face, he's something else too. Innocent, sensitive, lonely in a way Caleb knows too well. That night, he tucks Jace into the spare bed they set up in the corner, pulls the blanket up, watches him hug that dinosaur tight, and feels something crack open inside him. He's not just raising Derek's son, he's raising a chance to rewrite what family could be, to take the wreckage his brother left and turn it into something better. Not just for Jace, but for himself too. A story he didn't know he could tell until now. Caleb's 26 now, sitting at the kitchen table in his Tulsa apartment, a stack of construction paper turkeys spread out in front of him from his preschool class, while Jace, 6 years old, colors in the corner with a box of crayons Ethan bought him last Christmas. It's been a year since Jace moved in, a year of figuring out how to be an uncle, a dad, a something to this kid who's become the center of his world, green eyes and all. Life settled into a rhythm, mornings at school with the students, afternoons helping Jace with homework, or kicking a soccer ball around the park. Evenings with Ethan cooking spaghetti or watching cartoons until Jace nods off on the couch. Caleb's gotten used to it, the way Jace calls him Uncle C now, the way he trusts him with secrets like how he's scared of the dark or how he misses his mom sometimes. But there's still a shadow hanging over it all. Derek, his brother, locked up in a prison 2 hours away, the guy who broke his jaw for being gay 7 years back, the guy whose son Caleb's raising without a second thought. It starts with a letter, 1 month after Jace arrives, a plain envelope with a prison stamp showing up in the mailbox. Caleb opens it, hands steady, expecting nothing but cold facts. And that's what he gets at first. Derek's scratchy handwriting. Jace doing okay? Tell him to eat his veggies, he hates them. Caleb reads it to Jace, keeps it simple. Your dad says hi, wants you to eat your peas, and Jace nods, goes back to his dinosaur toys. The letters keep coming, once a month, short and stiff, updates about prison food, a fight in the yard, reminders to make sure Jace brushes his teeth. Caleb doesn't write back, just files them away in a drawer, figuring it's all he'll ever get from Derek, a guy too stubborn to change, too angry to care. But then the tone shifts. 6 months in, Derek starts writing more. Saw a guy get shanked last week, makes you think. Or Jace ever talk about me? Tell him I'm sorry he's stuck there. Caleb reads them alone first, keeps the heavy stuff from Jace. But he notices the shift, the way Derek's words start to crack open, like he's got time to sit with himself now. Time to think about what he did. One rainy Tuesday, a year into Jace's stay, a thicker envelope lands in the mail. Caleb pulls it out, sits on the couch after Jace is asleep, and starts reading. Derek's handwriting's messier this time. Caleb, I don't deserve you reading this, I know that. I messed up bad, not just with Jace, with you. I hit you, I threw you out, I was wrong, I was mad at everything and took it out on you. If you're still reading, thanks for not letting Jace grow up in some foster dump. Thanks for not letting him to live with the kind of hate I gave you. Caleb stops, sets the letter down, feels his throat tighten, his hands shake a little. He reads it again, then a third time, looking for a trick, a lie, but it's there, an apology, raw and clumsy, from the brother who'd rather punch than talk. He thinks about that night in Oklahoma, Derek's fist, the blood, the way he'd walked out into the dark. And now this, words on a page that don't erase it but hit him somewhere deep. He doesn't forgive Derek, not fully, not yet. The scars are too old, too real, but he feels something give, a weight he didn't know he was carrying. The next day he sits at the table, pulls out a piece of paper, starts writing back, not for Derek, not to fix anything, but for himself. Jace is good. He's learning to read. He's got your smile. I'm not doing this for you, I'm doing it for him. But I got your letter, I read it. He mails it, drops it in the box outside their building, walks back inside to where Jace is sprawled on the rug, drawing a picture of a dog. Caleb sits next to him, picks up a crayon, starts coloring too, and knows this isn't about Derek anymore. It's about him and Jace, about building something out of the mess his brother left behind, one letter, one day, one choice at a time. Caleb's 28 now, standing in the back of a Tulsa elementary school classroom, arms crossed, watching Jace, 7 years old, sit at a desk with a pencil in his hand, scribbling answers for a spelling test. It's been 2 years since that first letter from Derek, 2 years since Caleb took in his nephew, a kid who walked into his life with his brother's green eyes and a weight Caleb never thought he'd carry. Jace has grown here, in this apartment above the coffee shop, with Caleb and Ethan, surrounded by picture books and soccer games and a kind of love Caleb didn't know he had in him. He's a good kid, loud sometimes, stubborn when he doesn't want to eat carrots, but quick to hug, quick to laugh, and Caleb's learned to see past the shadow of Derek in his face, to love the boy for who he is, not who he came from. They built a routine, mornings at preschool where Caleb teaches, afternoons at the park or the library, nights with Ethan telling bedtime stories about pirates and dragons until Jace falls asleep with a smile. Derek's still in prison, 8 years left on his sentence, sending letters every month. But Caleb doesn't read them all to Jace anymore, just the parts about missing him, the parts that don't drag up the past. He's kept that one letter though, the one where Derek said sorry, tucked in a drawer with Jace's first drawing, a stick figure dog with a wobbly tail. Tonight's different. It's a parent-teacher night, and Caleb's here, standing in for a dad who can't be, listening as Jace's teacher, Ms. Harper, calls the kids up to share something about their families. Jace bounces to the front, holds up a piece of paper with a crayon drawing, a house with 3 people, him, Caleb, Ethan, all smiling under a big yellow sun. Ms. Harper smiles, asks, "Jace, who's your hero?" And Caleb braces himself, expecting a shrug or a joke about Spider-Man. But Jace looks right at him, standing there in the back, and says, "My dad's in prison, he's been gone a long time. But my hero's my Uncle Caleb. He made me feel proud to feel, even when I'm sad or mad, he says it's okay." The room goes quiet, a few parents shift in their seats, and Caleb feels his eyes burn, a lump rising in his throat he can't swallow down. He blinks hard, stares at this kid who's turned his world upside down, who's taken the bloodline that once beat him out of a house and made it something new, something whole. Ms. Harper nods. "That's beautiful, Jace." And he runs back to his seat, grinning like he didn't just break Caleb open in front of 20 strangers. Later, walking home, Jace grabs his hand, swings it as they pass the coffee shop, and Caleb thinks about that night 7 years ago. Derek's fist, the door slamming, the family that didn't fight for him. He thinks about how he walked away, built a life from nothing, and now here's Jace rewriting it all with a kid's honesty, a kid's heart. They get upstairs, Ethan's waiting with pizza, and Jace climbs onto the couch between them, chattering about school, and Caleb knows it. Family isn't always where you start, it's where you end up, where you choose to put your love. He was the one they pushed out, the one Derek said wasn't blood anymore. But now he's the one holding this boy together, raising him to feel proud, to feel everything, and that's a legacy he never saw coming. The screen fades on them laughing over pizza, a family made not by birth, but by kindness, by showing up when it counts. So, who's been your hero when the world turned away? Tell us below, we'd love to hear it. If Jace and Caleb's story hit you hard, hit that like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to Heart Stories for more. Tap the bell to stay with us.